Hi everyone, it is March 2nd right now, so the first Sunday of March. There was a forecast to have some storms today. I don't think that's happening anymore. So it's a little bit gloomy, but the sky is clear. There's lots of clouds, but it doesn't look like it's going to rain. But we do have a forecast for a second storm that's coming up this Wednesday and Thursday, so we'll see what happens. But this is an update on my 2023 the Verne Manila Rootstock. So I have a better idea now of what I'm gonna be doing with them this year in terms of what kind of scion selection, whatnot that I'm gonna graft onto it. So let's take a look at the first tree. So this one I did attempt some grafts last year of M4 sealing scions. Few of it did take. So here's the M4 sealing scions that took. And this, I know this graph for sure, these two right here, I know for sure is like the clone of the M4. And I got three more nice kind of limbs from the rootstock right here. And you see this limb right here, this limb right here, and this one. And I'm gonna again graft sealing scions of M4 onto this. So we'll see what happens on this. It's flushing a bit of vegetation. This has like a little bit of tiny bloom, so we'll see what happens. But there's three nice limbs on here that's going to be used to graft M4, so this would be just that M4 experiment. Okay, let's keep going on. Here is the one tree I mentioned that I suspected that was going to look bad and that's probably going to die pretty soon. So unfortunately it is dead, but for me it's a bit of a relief too, because I've been trying to pamper this for the last year or so. It was just a lot of work trying to pamper an unhealthy tree. Because of that, I didn't really do any grafting projects. I was just kind of concerned that it would die this year, and it did die. I did make one graft, but that was about it. So, it sucks that it died, but it's also a relief that, I'm not going to be needing to pamper this tree anymore. I'll be removing this rootstock. I'll be putting in an alfalfa rootstock. And, I have a lot of alfalfa, so I could experiment. But if this was you guys and you had a mango tree that died in this spot, I would recommend a different spot, just for various reasons. It could be, this spot is just getting a bit more cold or something that might be hurting or damaging the tree. You also don't want the roots that has died in here to kind of plant another mango there. Lots of times they pick up the diseases. So it's always recommended that you have some sort of plant, whether it's like an apple or a stone fruit. If the tree died there, don't plant another one there, just because of the remaining roots usually has kind of breaking down the diseases that's there. That doesn't help putting in a closely related species or the same kind of species in there. So I'm doing it because I do have a lot of alfalfas, and I'm not too worried if it dies, but I will be removing a bit of the dirt. I'll try to put in some sand and peat moss to kind of fill it up. So I'm trying to remove a bit of dirt by capturing those dead roots and getting it out of the way. And then I'll put in the alfalfas I have. Okay. So let's keep on going. Here is my lemon zest experiment that is going really well. I hope to do something similar like this with sweet tart. So as I mentioned before, these are all sealing scions, but these four are the pollinated lemon zest sealing scions. So it's the hybrid, not the clone. So there's four of them on here. Let's see, this one's Indian spice smelling, no blooms or anything, which is good. This one's the classic smelling one, doesn't have any of the citrus smell or anything like that, but it came from a lemon zest. And then this very biggest one is another Indian spice smelling lemon zest sealing. I was able to graft a clone. This is a sealing of lemon zest clone that I identified. I didn't think it was going to take, but it looks like it's going to push again, so maybe this little graft will make it. It's the size. When I grafted all these, it was like this size. like the size of like a toothpick, and now they all kind of gotten quite nice and large. Okay, so that's the next tree. So there's one more tree here, and this one I tried to make some grafts last year. They all kind of failed, or at least just kind of hovering there. But this tree does have some blooms. Take a look at it right here. You know, and these were all planted in ground in 2023, and I bought it from Home Depot in 2000. No, let me take that back. I put this in the ground 2024. I bought it from Home Depot in 2023. So, you know, I spent time growing it out in a pot to get a good trunk size, and I planted it out. So, you know, you can see it's blooming early, which is what happens in California, whether the seedlings or not. So this tree will be receiving some hybrid sweet tart seedling scions. So we'll see what happens. There's 3 nice branches. I got 3 nice size sweet tart that have been growing out that has very different distinguishing smells on the leaves. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully that these grafts, I could get those grafts to take, and then this tree would be my seedling sweet tart hybrid experiment. Okay, let's keep on going. Okay, not much new going on here. I'm not sure if I'll be grafting any other varieties on here, but you know, this is the coconut cream. I have liked that I got some nice vertical growth on this coconut cream. You know, coconut cream is kind of known to be very weepy, and this one, like, the flowers died off and came off, but it's swelling again. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more blooms. Okay, and back here's a sugarloaf. So I have just those 2 on here. Let's try to take a look at the trunk. Looking pretty good. So let's go to the next tree. This is the one that has the least amount of grafts or anything on it. I did try a couple grafts last year. They all failed. So this one, I'm not sure what I'm going to be grafting on this yet, but it'll probably be a mixture of seedling scion and mature scion on this. And it has a lot of kind of branches. Some of it was due to a failed graft I had, like this right here, and some of it just kind of naturally branched by itself. I don't do any pruning on my seedlings until I'm ready to graft them. Okay, let's keep going, and this one's beginning to look really, really nice. And these are all seedling clones of sweet tart. So, excuse me. So, you can see it's flushing vegetation, but these were all kind of the ones identified as clones. They did came from different embryos, but I identified them as clones of sweet tart. And when I grafted them, they were just like, you know, the size of toothpicks, but now they're pretty nice and decent, you know, really good sized up really well. So, it's looking good. I'm hoping this gives me, you know, gosh, maybe hopefully 4 or 5 feet of growth this 4 or 5 feet of growth this year, and then maybe bloom next year. We'll see what happens. You know? This is my next rootstock. You can see it's already beginning to bloom, and this one was one I didn't do any grafting last year on it, or attempt any grafting. It grew kind of tall, and then I did a trunk chop right here. Right, this is what I like to do. I like to get the trunk size large by just kind of leaving it alone, getting some height on it, And then once I get that, then I chop it and then let it branch. So that's what I did last year. Now it has 3 nice branching on it. And for this, I'll probably be grafting some mature scions. I'm thinking maybe it's going to be an Edward, a Fruit Punch, possibly maybe another Sugarloaf, but haven't decided on that. But it'll be mature scions. I'm not going to be grafting any seedling scions on here because I don't need, at least in this spot, I don't need it to get too tall or anything like that. Just because it's surrounded by a citrus to my right and then another mango tree to the left, so don't need anything to get too big, because I know once I graft one of the mature scions onto this, it's going to just start blooming and the growth will slow down. Alright, let's keep on going. So here's the next tree, and I grafted this, well, planted this in the ground. This one has a nice size trunk. Planted in the ground last year because the one next to it was kind of struggling a bit, and that one was planted back in 2023, so it was kind of struggling a bit. So because of that, I planted this, and it's been doing really well. I grafted Burnett Alfonso, as you can see, already kind of hit by powdery mildew already. Not spraying or anything. I don't need no fruits on it this year or anything like that. So Burnett Alfonso is down here, and I grafted a regular Alfonso on the top right here. And I'll probably be grafting a lot of Alfonso derivatives, or like varieties that came from an Alfonso breeding program. So this is going to be my Alfonso tree. The next tree is this one right here. This is the one that didn't look so good. That's why I planted that. I didn't want to dig this up. It's looking much better, but I just don't like. This one's been a little bit floppy. So I'll be cutting it down, chop it down to probably about right here or something this year. You know, just cut it way down. A little bit floppy. It is blooming already. So that's my updates on these latest rootstocks. I have been just calling them the 2023 rootstocks. Okay, thanks guys.